Hello, we are in A Course in Miracles, Workbook for Students, Part 1 of the workbook, Lesson 94. I am as God created me. Today we continue with the one idea which brings complete salvation, the one statement which makes all forms of temptation powerless, the one thought which renders the ego silent and entirely undone. You are as God created you. The sounds of this world are still, the sights of this world disappear, and all the thoughts that this world ever held are wiped away forever by this one idea. Here is salvation accomplished. Here is sanity restored. Let me go ahead and read the footnote 143. You are as God created you. See Workbook 93. I'm going to go do that. 7. You are as God created you, not what you made of yourself. What evil you may think you did, you are as God created you. Whatever mistakes you made, the truth about you is unchanged. Creation is eternal and unalterable. So you are as God created you. All right. True light is strength, and strength is sinlessness. If you remain as God created you, you must be strong, and light must be in you. He who ensured your sinlessness must be your guarantee of strength and light as well. You are as God created you. Darkness cannot obscure the glory of the Son of God. 144, Matthew 25:31. When the Son of Man shall come in his glory, and all the holy angels with him, then shall he sit upon the throne of his glory. In the above passage, of course, the Son is all of us. Excuse me. I'm a little bit lost. Okay, you stand in light, strong in the sinlessness in which you were created and in which you will remain throughout eternity. Today, we will again devote the first 5 minutes of each waking hour to the attempt to feel the truth in you. Begin these times of searching with these words: I am as God created me. I am His Son eternally. Now try to reach the Son of God in you. This is the self which never sinned nor made an image to replace reality. This is the self which never left its home in God to walk the world uncertainly. This is the self which knows no fear, nor could conceive of loss or suffering or death. Nothing is required of you to reach this goal except to lay all idols and self-images aside. Go past the long list of attributes, both good and bad, you have ascribed to yourself, and wait in silent expectancy for the truth. 145. As with most of the 5 minutes per hour practices, this one is a meditation exercise. Here you lay aside all the attributes you have ascribed to yourself. Then, rather than sinking down into your mind as in most earlier meditations, you simply wait in a state of stillness in which the only thing that occupies your mind is expectancy, the anticipation that your true self will be revealed to you. This is an initial occurrence of a method of meditation that will become the workbook's predominant form in the second half of its year. God has Himself promised it will be revealed to all who ask for it. You are asking now. You cannot fail because He cannot fail. If you do not meet the requirement of practicing for the first 5 minutes of every hour, at least remind yourself hourly, I am as God created me. I am His Son eternally. Tell yourself frequently today that you are as God created you, and be sure to respond to anyone who seems to irritate you with these words. You are as God created you. You are His Son eternally. Make every effort to do the hourly exercises today. Each one you do will be a giant stride toward your release and a milestone in learning the thought system which this course sets forth. Lesson 94, I am as God created me. And then we're going to go ahead and read Lesson 94. I am as God created me. Practice instructions. The purpose is to feel the truth in you, to experience your true self. Every hour on the hour for 5 minutes is your practice period. Say, I am as God created me. I am His Son eternally. The remainder is again a brief meditation in a slightly new format. First, lay aside your self-images, the list of attributes, both good and bad, you have ascribed to yourself. Then, wait in silent expectancy for your true self to be revealed to you. Wait confidently, knowing that God has promised you this revelation. This waiting means holding your mind in stillness, empty of specifics, yet filled with the expectancy that who you really are will dawn on you. When your mind wanders, repeat the idea to return your mind to this expectant waiting. This appears to me to be the first example of what I call open mind meditation, which will become the workbook's crowning method of meditation. In this technique, you consciously set aside your normal thoughts and beliefs and then hold your mind in stillness, waiting for the truth to dawn on you. For example, see the introduction to Review 5, paragraph 12, and Lesson 189, paragraph 7. So if you want to go ahead and read those. I like to kind of bask in a pure bluish bright white light, and that's my method. I practice the beginnings, such as my wait. Okay, this is my wait in silent expectancy is basking in that light. But I love Gary Renard's meditation. If you want to search it on YouTube, do a search for Gary Renard 5-minute meditation. That's a beautiful meditation. All right, so alternate on the hour. If you do not do the 5 minutes on the hour, at least repeat, I am as God created me. I am His Son eternally. This practice of spending a minute or so with the idea, if you can't do the full 5 minutes, will apply to all the 5-minute per hour lessons. So frequent reminders repeat the idea in original or expanded form. Whenever somebody seems to irritate you, be certain to respond with, you are as God created you. You are His Son eternally. You are urged to make every effort to do the hourly exercises today. Each one you do, you are promised, will be a giant stride towards your release. If you let that line sink in, you will find that it is a tremendous motivator to practice. That line also means that this lesson is another of the workbook's giant strides. The first one were 61 and 66. This is appropriate because I am as God created me is the workbook's premier lesson. It is repeated in 110, 162, and all through the 20-day review 6. All right, so I'm going to pause here and I'll be right back. So picking up with the commentary by Alan Watson. This lesson continues with the thought introduced yesterday. Salvation requires the acceptance of but one thought. You are as God created you, not what you made of yourself. Workbook Part 1, Lesson 93. Paragraph 7, Sentence 1. The Course places a significant emphasis on this single idea. It is the only idea used as the main theme of more than one lesson. And I'm just going to, it is the lead, I wasn't going to read all this, but I will. It is the lead thought of this lesson, Lesson 110 and Lesson 162. It was introduced in the text. It is a sub-theme in Lessons 132 and 139 and Review 6. It has us repeating every day for 20 days. I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. You sort of get the feeling that Jesus wants us to get this idea and get it good. Read over the first paragraph of this lesson and you will see just how important this idea is in the Course's curriculum. It is called the one idea which brings complete salvation. And it's raining, so I'm going to pause and move inside. A single, simple idea, so very important. Just this, our entire problem lies in our belief that even if God created me whole and complete, somehow I have screwed that up. Somehow I have lost it, blown it, destroyed it, or corrupted myself. I am as God created me asserts that none of this is true. God created me whole, and I am as God created me. I am still whole, I am still holy, I am still sinless and guiltless. To think that we can change what God created and corrupt it is the height of arrogance. It asserts that our power is greater than God's and that we can uncreate what He created. If God created us wholly loving and wholly lovable, then we are still that no matter what we think, no matter what we may believe we have done. We are not what we made of ourselves. We are still what God created. If you remain as God created you, you must be strong and light must be in you. So we stand in light, strong in the sinlessness in which we were created. That is the truth about us, and the Course is all about undoing any belief we may have that contradicts it and denies the truth. Today's practice once again asks for the first 5 minutes of each waking hour as times in which we attempt to feel the truth in ourselves and to reach the Son of God in ourselves. This practice of 5 minutes each hour begun yesterday is going to continue for another 16 lessons throughout 110, so get used to it. This is probably the most intense extended practice the workbook demands. After Lesson 110, it settles down to a morning and evening period with shorter hourly remembrances. As you will see, nearly all of these 18 lessons from 93 to 110 are variations on the theme of reaching the Christ within, the true self, me as God created me. Realize how important this is and make a real effort to do the hourly remembrances, the hourly practices, rearranging your day as necessary if you can. Remember, though, that yesterday's lesson told us that we may not want or even be able to do this, and if our motivation is not high, it is suggested that we at least spend 1 minute per hour reviewing the idea for the day. Recognize also that the workbook would hardly include 18 lessons on the same basic theme and format if it expected you to get it perfectly in the first one. Getting in touch with our one self takes practice, and that is what the lessons are for. The text refers to the benefits of practicing the mechanics of the holy instant, even when you don't actually feel the truth in you every time. Practicing the mechanics, going through the motions as it were, is what brings the reality of the holy instant closer every time we do it. It asserts your willingness to receive the grace God wants to give to you. It breaks down your resistance, which is the only thing keeping the one self from your awareness. The closing words of the lesson emphasize the importance of this practice. Make every effort to do the hourly exercises today. Each one you do will be a giant stride toward your release and a milestone in learning the thought system which this course sets forth. So join me in a serious attempt to do these lessons, to do as these lessons tell us to do. Remember the admonitions of the introduction to the workbook. Italics are my emphasis. It is doing the exercises that will make the goal of the course possible. You are merely asked to apply the ideas as you are directed to do. You are not asked to judge them at all. You are asked only to use them. It is their use that will give them meaning to you and will show you that they are true. Do not allow yourself to make exceptions in applying the ideas the workbook contains. And whatever your reactions to the ideas may be, use them. Nothing more than that is required. Thank you so much for joining with me in Lesson 94 in this journey. I am as God created me. I love you.